Natural disasters can strike at any moment, and flash floods are one of the most devastating forms of it. These sudden and dangerous events happen when heavy rains fall in a short period, overwhelming drainage systems and causing water to rise rapidly in low-lying areas. The powerful and fast-moving storms can cause massive damage and loss of life in a matter of minutes. The results can be catastrophic, with homes, buildings, and entire communities being destroyed. In today's video, we'll take a closer look at some of the most horrific flash floods you can't believe are real. Number 9. Amarnath Flash Floods, India. The floods happened after a short period of heavy rain, called a cloudburst in the area, at around 17:30 on July 8, 2022. The rain caused flash floods that swept through a camp of 25 tents and 3 community kitchens for pilgrims going to the Amarnath Cave Temple near Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir, about 141 kilometers from Srinagar, the summer capital of Jammu and Kashmir. On July 9th, the Ministry of Home Affairs in India said that 16 bodies had been found and that 65 people had been hurt and taken to the hospital. More than 40 pilgrims haven't been found yet. Teams from the Indo-Tibetan Border Police, National and State Disaster Response Forces, Border Security Force, Indian Army and Air Force, and others were sent to the site to help with rescues and evacuations. Early on July 9th, rescue work was started by helicopters. It is thought that there are thousands of pilgrims who are stuck near the site. Number 8. Las Vegas Flash Flood. Las Vegas was hit by flash floods that flooded the city streets and casinos for the second time in 2 weeks. This made last year's monsoon season in the dry city the wettest in a decade. Videos shared on social media show that water ran down the streets like rivers and poured into casinos through the roofs. The National Weather Service warned people in Las Vegas not to try to drive through floodwaters. A video posted by a Vegas resident shows sheets of rain falling on poker tables at the Planet Hollywood Casino, while shocked casino goers look on. Another video shows a bus trying to get through the flooded streets as water pours into it. Another one shows water pouring down the street by the high roller Ferris wheel on the Strip. The Desert Storm is the second one in just 2 weeks. It is happening in a city that on average gets less than 0.4 inches of rain in July. The National Weather Service said the storm made the monsoon season of 2022 in Las Vegas the wettest in 10 years. Number 7. Turkish Flash Floods. The 2009 Turkish flash floods were a series of floods that happened on September 9, 2009 in and around Istanbul and the rest of Turkey's Marmara region. At least 31 people died because of the floods, and the damage is thought to have cost more than $70 million. No one knows how many people are missing. On September 8th, 3 people died in the western suburbs of Istanbul. On September 9th, 21 people died in Istanbul, and 7 more died in the nearby province of Tekirdağ. Officials and experts have said that the high number of deaths is due to unplanned urbanization in Istanbul, where buildings have been built in riverbeds and an insufficient infrastructure system. In some places, the water rose to a height of 1 meter, making it impossible to get to Istanbul's main airport and the highway that goes to Bulgaria and Greece. The state-run news agency Anatolia Agency says that 1 building fell down. At the same time, floods also destroyed 2 bridges on the Bakköy-Saray Highway in northwestern Turkey. More than 200 cars and dozens of trucks have been washed into the Marmara Sea. Number 6. Arkansas Flash Floods. The 2010 Arkansas floods were sudden floods that killed at least 20 people early on June 11, 2010 near Langley, Arkansas in the United States. 6 to 8 inches of rain fell in some places, flooding the Little Missouri and Caddo rivers and washing away campsites in the Ouachita National Forest. Heavy rain in the Ouachita National Forest on June 10th evening and early July 11th morning caused the floods. The Little Missouri River and Caddo River rose at a rate of up to 8 feet per hour. Near Langley, the Little Missouri reached a height of over 23 feet, which is much higher than its usual level of 3 feet. Camping spots in the area around the rivers were destroyed by the floods. Since records began in 1988, the area had not seen a flood of this size. A local person said that nothing like that had happened since May 1968, when the site wasn't as popular for camping as it is now. Warnings were sent out before the flooding, but some people may not have heard them because the areas that were affected were so far away. Number 5. Queensland Flash Floods, followed by number 4. A Maryland Flash Flood. After more than 8 inches of rain fell in 2 hours on May 27, 2018, Ellicott City, Maryland's historic Main Street was flooded just before the new flood emergency alert system that was supposed to start working. There was flooding all over the Patapsco Valley, including in the nearby towns of Catonsville, Arbutus, and Elkridge, as well as in Baltimore's Jones Falls Valley. Ellicott City was hurt a lot by the flooding, which happened just 2 years after another flood that did a lot of damage. The water filled the streets, buildings fell down, and cars were washed away. Edison Hermond, a National Guardsman, also died because of it. Since the floods, the state and local governments have passed laws that say some buildings in the historic district can be torn down. Number 3. South Korean flash floods. On August 8, 2022, widespread flooding struck the capital city of South Korea, Seoul, particularly the Gangnam district and the areas immediately surrounding it. It was preceded by the heaviest precipitation seen in the preceding 80 years. There were at least 9 people killed and over 2,800 buildings that were damaged. As a result of the disaster, 163 people in Seoul lost their homes. Warnings of landslides have been issued for a total of 50 cities and towns. There was a widespread loss of power. President Yoon Suk-yeol issued a statement to the public warning them of high rainfall. And in the Dongsak district of Seoul, the highest amount of rainfall recorded was 17 inches. Number 2. Death Valley Flash Flood. At the beginning of August 2022, flash floods flooded Furnace Creek in Death Valley, North America's driest place. On August 5th, a rainstorm that only happens once every 1,000 years dropped 75% of the area's average annual rainfall, which is just under 2 inches, in just 3 hours. In Death Valley National Park, floodwater washed debris over roads, swept away and buried cars, shut down a water facility, damaged buildings, and left about 1,000 visitors and park employees stranded. The downpour dropped 1.46 inches, which was almost as much as the park's single-day record of 1.47 inches, which was set in April 1988. It did, however, break the record for the most rain ever seen in August, which is usually just a little more than 1/10 of an inch. And number 1. Southeastern United States flash floods. The September 2009 floods in the southeastern United States affected several counties in northern Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, and Arkansas. The Atlanta metropolitan area was hit by the worst flooding. Continuous rain, caused by moisture pulled from the Gulf of Mexico, fell faster than the local watersheds could drain the runoff. At first, the damage around the state was thought to be around $250 million. On September 26, 2009, John Oxendine, the Georgia Insurance Commissioner, raised the estimated cost to $500 million, though it could go up even more. About 20,000 homes, businesses, and other buildings were severely damaged, and 17 counties in Georgia were declared disaster areas by the federal government. At least 10 people died because of the flood. Alright everyone, that's going to do it for today's video. Share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, then please give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you hit the bell icon so you always keep up with all of our latest videos.